The title, give the title of her speech.
It's called the Speeches by Management Briefing.
Officers elections.
The title is off.
Yeah. So yeah, she's going to be speaking on officers election.
Good evening. As a club, we hold elections every 6 months. Each term is of 6 months. The next one we are having elections on June 18th, which will be for the term from July to December. Serving as a club officer is a great opportunity and a responsibility as well. It is filled with the chances for you to learn teamwork skills. You help club and members develop goals for improvement. You facilitate individual and club success. You instill members with enthusiasm, fidelity, and the sense of responsibility. And last but not the least, you translate values and strategies into productive actions. Let us understand each role. Some of the roles might be something familiar to you. You must be doing it outside of the Toastmaster world, knowingly or unknowingly. Whereas some roles might be totally new to you. Either way, you may want to practice it here and perform your best outside. At the end, we will have a Q&A session for 2 to 3 minutes. Please jot down any questions or queries you may have for me, and do not disappoint me for that. Let's begin with our first role. I've also given each of you short paper, which is, you can find that underneath your agenda, which describes each role. That's for you to take it home, go through it, and then decide which role goes with you best. The first one is Sergeant at Arms. You keep the club property safe and secure, such as lectern, banner, ribbons, so on and so forth. You set up the room in the beginning and leave the room the way it was found at the end of the meeting. And third one, you coordinate the club meetings and special events with the management of the premises, which is ICC in our case. The second role is of treasurer. You prepare and oversee budget. You handle bank accounts for the club. And you collect membership dues and pay bills. You must be thinking, what kind of bills do we pay? Such as paying rent for the facility, paying money to the Toastmaster International for buying those ribbons or any other supply. You take care of if you are a treasurer. Third one is secretary. You take notes at each of the club's meeting or officers' meeting. You take care of club's files. You report new officers at the ward's headquarters. What does it mean? The moment we have elections before the end of June, make sure it is updated on the website and you let the Toastmaster International know who are our new officers. You occasionally help VP of Education as well. The fourth one is Vice President Public Relations. What do you do if you are the one? Publicize the club to the outside world and let them know what we are providing, what benefits we are providing. Keep the club's web and community presence online, such as Meetup, website, any other Facebook, any other social networking site. You create and distribute flyers whenever we have a special event or to even publicize the club throughout the year. Let's say if you were Vice President membership, what would you do? That's our fifth officer role. Recruit new members. Manage the process of bringing in guests and transforming them into members. You assist guests. Initiate contact with guests, make them feel welcome, provide them with any material information they need to join the club, and overcome membership challenge if we are facing it anytime. The sixth one is Vice President Education. Coordinate club's weekly meeting schedule. Assist with education awards, such as you either educate the new members towards the education program or you assist the existing members toward how they can achieve their award, how they can achieve their goal and stay on track within least possible time. Manage mentor program and plan speech contest. The seventh officer's role is being president. Preside over meetings, lead and guide, and earn distinguished club recognition. With that, you have the information for all the 7 officers' role. Think about it. If you have any question, the stage is open for the question and answer. Sure.
What are the prerequisites for these officers?
Being a member of the club.
That's it?
Do you have a suggested sequence of roles to be taken? Like if you're a new member,
Sure.
would be a president's be a better choice,
Sure.
or where should one start?
So, the preference I would say is to begin with Sergeant at Arms, Secretary, and VP membership. I would say even VP Public Relations can be taken over. The only 2 or 3 roles which I would like somebody who is at least 6 months to a year old to take over will be Treasurer, VP Education, and President. So anybody who is new can go starting in this particular role or order. Any other question? Sure.
How often the officers meeting happens?
Sorry. Officers meeting initially when it's a new team, new club officers elected, it will be 15 days to 1 month, and that will happen for, let's say, 2 months. Over a period, once everybody's comfortable, once everybody knows what they're supposed to do, you can move on to telephonic meeting, which turns out to be, on an average, probably 4 to 6 meetings in a term of 6 months, which includes personal, in-person meeting as well as telephonic meetings. Sorry, Laurie, you had any question?
Yes. What is the application process to apply for the position?
Sure. So we have nomination committee, which is Parthiv and Sunil. They will conduct elections on June 18th. Before that, if you have any questions, if you want to nominate yourself or if you want to nominate somebody else for any particular role, you can send them an email. Any more questions?
Talk a little bit about the elections.
Sorry?
Oh, can you talk a little bit about the elections? You said.
Sure. So on June 18th, as I said, that election will be for our next term. We will have 7 officers to be elected from. The other requirement is somebody cannot repeat after 2 terms, and that is just to give some rotation and other new people chance as well. But having said that, there will be officers who will compulsorily have to walk out of that role. Nidhi will have to walk out of VP of Public Relations because she's been VP PR for 2 terms. Kathy will have to walk out of Treasurer. But at the same time, those who have been there for a term, they can either go for a new role or they can nominate themselves for continuing the same role. And other thing I would mention is we try to have backups for each of the role. That way, if somebody is not available or somebody needs help, we have each other helping them. And that also, as you said, Ajay, it helps when you have officers meeting. One officer can say, hey, I have some personal issues going on for next 1 month. Can you take up and take my role? So for example, our SA Jay, he's having his family visit him. So he's not able to come to the club. Does that mean we don't have meetings? No, we have other people who take over SA role when he's not there. Sorry, you had a question?
When is the nomination deadline? Is it on
Before-
the same day or?
No, before, the earlier the better, but I think they will decide June 18th. Is that right, Parthiv and Sunil, or do you have a date for them?
Up to the day.
Up to that date.
Up to the
that
last
particular-
minute.
Last minute.
In your opinion, what is the biggest challenge of the president?
The biggest challenge of the president was, which I felt, was in the first term, I was trying to understand what each and every role is. And that is why when you ask me a question, Sunil, that what is the preference, it's very much important because I, being a SAA, moved on to president. It was difficult for me to understand what each other roles are. And that's when I can have my officers work on that. By the time I was in second term, that's when I had more understanding, more responsibility, and more connection with the other officers to work on those. But I was always striving between what I want to achieve as a president and how I get it done through the group and work as a team together. I think that was, because as you heard, out of all 7, there were hardly any noticeable role for a president. As in, you actually have to do anything. You have to preside, you have to lead and guide, which is all written, but what exactly you do. So, without saying, there were those challenges I had to put in between for all the 7 members, officers. All right, thank you everybody for